purpose of this video is, I don't know, I feel like since everybody and their moms gets to talk about it, I feel like somebody who was actually there, let's like really talk about it, you know? Let's stop with the buffoonery, let's stop with the lies, like let's get it out there, because it's like getting embarrassing at this point. Like, are you not embarrassed? I know we just met and I'm already trauma dumping. Isn't that crazy? Let me formally introduce myself. My name is Anaya. I'm 19 years old. I'm turning 20 in August. And this is my very first video, I think. I don't know. Because I have another video that I could potentially post, but I don't know if this is going to be my first one. Because this is quite a lot as a first introduction, you know what I'm saying? Like, y'all really gonna get into it. But today, it just needs to be done because I'm tired of people lying. That's like the simplest way to put it. I'm not even gonna sugarcoat it or drag it. Like, just people lying. Someone lying. You know what I'm saying? Spreading lies, like being fake, and it's like crazy because like you're supposed to be the adult in this situation, and I've never seen anybody act more childish. My anger is not towards anybody in the family because I know that y'all are being fed lies. So it's like, if you hear the truth and still believe it, then like I can't do nothing after that. But if I know that at least you heard the truth, and if you decided to believe the lies, then that's on you and that's not on me. Because I don't care what happens after that. Because I love my family. Like, OD. But there's a whole lot of enablers in the family. And I know you know who I'm talking about. I know if you feel like I'm talking to you, I'm definitely talking to you. Okay? Because I know you know what's going on. Like, there's no way you don't see the signs. And you know, right? The reason that y'all can't say nothing is because probably a lot of y'all are in a situation like this for damn self. So, to be respectful of the family, I'm not going to say no names. I'm not going to do none of that. I'm just going to talk about what it was like growing up with a narcissistic father, okay? And on top of him being a narcissist, imagine him being Haitian, okay? And if you can't relate to the Haitian part, just Caribbean parents. But where am I going to start? Let me give you a little background information about me. I start at conception. That's like the easiest place to put, I guess. So my mom had me when she was 19. She met my dad when she was 17. My dad was 21 at this point because they're 2 years apart. So I think he was 22 when I was born. My mom turned 20, so he was 22. I was told growing up from both parents that one of the main reasons that they were together was because of me, because I was an unexpected surprise, I guess you would say. My mom wasn't planning on having a child, you know, to become pregnant at 19, but, you know, God. So here I came, and one of the reasons that they stayed in a relationship together was for me. I'm gonna get into another reason later on, but just remember that. Just remember that was said by both my mom and my dad, okay? Now, right, fast forward, I have an older brother, but me and him don't have the same mom. He was born around the time that my mom and my dad met, I'm pretty sure. Like, my mom has known him, my older brother, his whole entire life, basically. But we don't share, like, blood, the same mom. But we grew up in the same house, so that's my brother, period. Then we moved. Then my next youngest brother came in 2007. We moved to my childhood home, I guess. That's where I grew up most of my life. 2008, and then my youngest brother was born in 2011. So I'm the only girl of 4 boys. So that's just a little background about my family. I can't honestly, I couldn't honestly really say that I know who my dad is either. Because think about it like this, like, our parents know us our entire lives, but we don't know our parents. We didn't know our parents for their entire lives. So we came into their life at a certain point. We're just one part of their story, but they had, different lives like that. Like, my dad is from Haiti, as I said, so he was born there. I couldn't tell you. I could maybe tell you one story or two about his childhood and him growing up. Like, I couldn't even tell you if the man's, did he go to college? I don't even know. Like, I could not tell you. Like, I would say growing up, I viewed my family mostly consisted of my mom and my brothers. Like, that was, when I thought about family and our memories, like, that, it was just us. He was kind of like on the outside. Like, for example, we're all sitting at the table eating dinner. Man's is upstairs in his bed, like, having my mom bring him meals to his bed. Like, he can't walk down the stairs like everybody else and sit at the table and just be the head of the household. Like, that's one example. Or we couldn't be ourselves around him. Like, the way that we could laugh and have fun with my mom, say on a car ride or a road trip, versus when he's in the car, everyone's, it's like a sergeant's around. Like, when, like, you're in the army or something, and like the sergeant or the general, I don't, excuse my terms if I'm wrong, but comes around, everybody, like, attention, like, back straight. Like, you don't want to mess up, you don't want to be caught lacking. And that's really how it was in my house. And it wasn't even like a proper respect, I guess. Like, the way that he earned respect was through fear. That's what I would say. Like, he didn't gain respect in the way that a father should. Like, just leading a good example and being the man of the house and being a godly man. Like, just being some kind of good example, just being there when needed, not just obviously a provider. There's not just the providing part of being a parent. There's an emotional need, there's a mental need there. Like, kids need all of that to be well-rounded. You can't just give a child a place to sleep and food on the table and think they're gonna be all good. That's not how it works. If I'm going to you and I need something, or I need help, or I'm trying to overcome these feelings, and all you're doing is adding to them or making it worse, then you're not doing your job as a parent. You're lacking in an area. So before I hear it, I'm gonna just let's say this right now. Never am I saying that he didn't do his job as a provider. As a provider, I didn't go to sleep hungry. I didn't go to sleep without a roof over my head. I had clothes, I had shoes, like, I had things. But what gets confused is that material things is not everything. I would rather have nothing. I would rather have nothing if that means that I got to have a relationship with my father, or some type of love from my father. You know what I'm saying? Like, I would trade that if it meant you didn't treat me like this. And it's like, it hurts the most when it comes from a father, like, from your parent. Because I know that some people, person might be your mom, but for me to feel like damn, like, he don't even love me at this point. It's like, what am I doing wrong? Like, as a child, like, you seek your parents' approval, but it's like nothing that I do is pleasing to you. Nothing, like, I'm just trying to come to you, have a conversation, and you're snapping at me. One time we took my childhood best friend, Izzy, on the boat with, like, the whole family, and she was like, does your dad ever like talk normal to you guys? Like he always has a tone. Like, you know, like when you talk to someone, like there's a tone and a way you talk to someone. Like there's a difference between like what do you mean? What are you talking about? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like there's like an aggression. There's an aggression in his tone when he talks to us. And I think that's because like his tactic was to gain respect through fear. Because he definitely didn't gain respect in any other way. Like it's all about an image. That's the thing about. So the title, Growing Up with a Narcissistic Parent, he is a narcissist. I'm gonna give you what my self-explained version of a narcissist is, what I understand it to be. A narcissist is somebody who has an inflated sense of self. So basically, their self-importance to themselves is heightened. So like a big thing for him is like his way or no way. It's either you go with how he wants to do it, how he thought it was supposed to go, or you're wrong. Like he has a very, very hard time admitting that he was wrong. And it's crazy that because he used to say to me like, oh, that's one thing I hate. I hate liars. But nigga is the biggest liar that I know. Like still to this day, he's a phony. Like y'all do not know my dad for real. And only people who know my dad are gonna know that. But it's like people with narcissists, like you don't know the real them. I don't even know the real man, so I don't know how you do. I mean, but that's the thing. Like I said, this is from me, somebody who's I've only known him for not even half his life. So, and he didn't talk to us. Like that's what I'm saying. Like it really felt like he was an outsider in the family. Like he would come and go. He would sit in his bed. Like he wasn't a part of the family. It didn't feel like, oh, mom and dad are so, like I never once looked at my parents. It was like, oh, I can't wait to have a relationship like that or have a love like that. It was never like that. Like I viewed their marriage really mostly as a partnership, just because of the way they interacted with each other, or the way he interacted with her, the way he would treat her. Like he would call her woman and like stuff like that. Like he would just be disrespectful and treat you almost like property, like taking for granted the things that you do, the things that she would do. She was superwoman in that house for real. Like, let me talk about my mama. My mama is a strong, independent black woman, period. She's a woman of God. She's a kingdom woman. And God has done nothing but blessed her life. From all the ups to all the downs, to even the downs, to the down lows. And now going back up. And that's God for you. Like, he knows everything that's going to happen before you even get there. And he knew that this was something that she was going to have to go through, but something that was going to make her an even stronger person. And I admire her strength, because I really don't know what I would do without her and how she does it. Like, you know what's crazy? I was awake to what was going on in the house before my mom even was. Like, my mom was still brainwashed and being manipulated, or she was just, let me put it like this. My mom met my dad when she was 17, okay? And she had been with him since, 2020? The point I was trying to make was that she was with him since she was 17, all the way up to she was like 38, 39. So my point was, that's all she knew. Like, since she was literally 17, like, still impressionable, still young, like, being in this toxic relationship was literally all she knew. I'm telling you. But no, he was the best father in the world. Oh, I was always there. I did this and that. Yeah, you were there. Like, physically there, but you were not mentally there. You were not emotionally available to us. Like, you were not here with us. You know what I'm saying? You thought you knew. And you always wanted to have your 2 cents in. You wanted to butt in there. We know from the cameras all around the house. Like, even when you were not there, you needed to be there. It's like little stuff like that. Like, y'all don't even know. Like, you don't understand the things. I didn't even get to whoopings yet. That's even one part. Like, because I know a lot of kids get beat. I know a lot of parents do that. So I'm not saying just because you did that. Oh, obviously, if I did something bad, I'll take the butt whipping. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I did it, I gotta face the consequences. But there was a lot of times, like, I would watch my brothers, my youngest brother, not my youngest, the one older than the youngest, my second oldest younger brother. I don't know how to say that, but without saying his name, but I would watch him get beat or hear it and just cry. Cause I've seen my dad whoop my brother with so much rage, like it looked like he wanted to like really beat him, like you know when like someone's mad and like do that, but like make him count like 20 times. I watched this kid get whooped. Another time, I don't remember what had happened or what I did or whatever, but I got my ass whooped. I remember one time I said, like, as he was leaving, I was like, I'm calling Dyfus. Mans comes back, whoops my ass even more. And I couldn't go to school the next day because of the welt on my legs. Like, stuff like that, that's supposed to be... It's like, you know you're in the wrong. Because the fact that you came back, like, if you really were like that, you'd be like, okay, go ahead. Like, they're going to take you anyways. For you to come back and beat me even more for wanting to report the behavior, like, the way that you're treating us, like, you're beating me for something so minuscule, like, it just doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't add up to me. Like, I don't know, I guess as a child who got whooped as a kid, I would never whoop my child. Because I know what that does. All that does is build resentment and fear for the parent. Now, I'm not scared of him now. My fear for him dissipated when I was like in high school. Because I got even more to the point where it's like, I'm about to be grown. Like, I'm not about to have you talk to me like this, treat me like this, and me. Well, I'm gonna just sit here and take it? Don't even try that. And that's really, I really used to be. Like, I could not speak up for myself. Like, that's one thing my boyfriend brought out in me a lot, is me not letting people run over me and helping me use my voice, because I'm the type of person, like, I hate confrontation. And that's because, like, I guess my anxiety. But if you're sitting there screaming at me, like, I'm gonna shut down. Like, that's just, like, what I've been conditioned to. What I'm used to, because I couldn't. Me defending myself was considered talking back. So it's like, at this point, I might as well keep my mouth shut. And if I cry, and then I would get into the habit of pushing my tears down, because I would cry and he'd be like, I don't care that you're crying, your tears don't mean nothing. So it's like, I'm just showing my natural emotion. Like, I'm not crying because I'm sad. I'm crying because I'm frustrated. I'm trying to talk to my dad. And he can't even so much as look me in my face as I'm talking to him. He's scrolling, playing Candy Crush on his phone. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't feel seen by you. So now all of a sudden you're supposed to... So now when things are crumbling around him, when now his wife is really... You know, she had threatened it for a little bit, but you didn't think she was actually gonna leave, did you? Bet y'all didn't know he was illiterate either. Because apparently now he's telling the courts that he's illiterate and can't read. So now he gotta go into the lawyers can read to him. Like, first of all, you talk about how smart you are. That's one thing my dad loves to do. My dad loves to show off. When he had a motorcycle, every party, like, having people pose on it. Like, he wants people to see him do good. It's all about the image on the outside. Like, if y'all heard the way that he talked, when y'all were in there, you would be like, who does he think he is? But y'all don't say that because he doesn't act like that in front of you. Because that's another thing about a narcissist. He's two-faced. The way that I've seen him switch his voice, switch his tone, switch his face, when somebody else comes up, like, y'all don't know the two-facedness. Y'all don't know. You know, I've heard a lot of stuff. Had to deal with a lot. The things that I went through, the feelings that I felt, nobody should have. Like, I would have wished that on nobody, not even him. I almost took my life. As an 8th grader, I felt bad enough to the point where I'm gonna do another story time on that probably, because that was a whole demonic, that was a whole nothing but a demonic attack on itself. Like, I can't even explain to y'all the way that was a crazy moment. And but God, that's all I gotta say. But God. But for me to sit on my floor as though I'm an 8th grade, so that's what, 13 years old, sobbing my eyes out, like I couldn't even breathe, like telling myself that, like, I was so prepared to do it, honestly. Like, I was thinking of everything in the house, how I could do it without anybody finding out. Like, I really went to the point where it's like, I'm about to go get these things, you know what I'm saying? To go do it right now, today. And what, I'm crazy now? It's crazy because that's the only thing he can say. We have issues and that we're crazy, but sure, you could say that, but why? He's always talking about the cause and not the effect. No, he's always talking about the effect and not the cause. What is the reason of these things? If you're talking about I have issues, yeah, I have anxiety, yeah, I have depression, yeah, I had some self-confidence issues, but where do you think those things came from? Why do you think I have these things? You barely let me leave the house. I didn't get to hang out with friends, so that's one. So most of my interactions was in that household. I barely got a phone to begin with. Like, I didn't have a phone. I don't really count myself having a phone for real until after I graduated high school. Like, the one thing about my dad is he had this rule where basically we weren't allowed to have the phone overnight. And it was a blessing and a curse in disguise, because I know what it's like to not have technology at all times. Like, people were just constantly on it. But I think that's also a bad thing, because now when I did get it, I didn't know how to control it myself, because I was always told, like, oh, at 6 o'clock put your phone away. Like, and I had to do that. And then as I moved up grades, I got to have longer time. But it's like, as a child in school, that feels crazy, because it's like all your friends are making plans, all your friends are talking about this and that, and then you go back to school, everybody's singing a new song, or everybody's talking about something that happened, or this video that was on Snapchat, and you are clueless, like, just sitting there, like, and not necessarily a good thing, because we're not of this world, we're just in it, so I shouldn't be wrapped up in worldly things. But it's like, as a child, that messes with you, especially as I said, I'm already in an all-white school, so that's just another thing to make me feel isolated, you know what I'm saying? And it's like, I never got to make plans. He either had to know weeks in advance, like, and you know how kids are, it's like, oh, you want to go after school, you want to go to the movies? If I got home and asked to go to the movies, I wasn't going to the movies. I will say 80% of the time I was not going to the movies. Because one, if it's on a school night, it's dubs. Two, if you don't know the people. Three, oh, it's too last minute. Oh, why are you asking me? We just talked about it today after school. I don't care. You're not going. So it's like, a lot of times I was treated like, as a high schooler, as a junior in high school, it was like I was going out for play dates with my friends. Like, oh, be back by this time. 2 hours from when I leave. And that's including the time it takes to drive there. So it's like, I'm getting to see my friends for an hour and a half. It's like I don't get to really live. I didn't get to really, right? I didn't get to really live my life until I left for college. And that's one of the main reasons I really wanted to leave. Mostly. Those who were close enough to know, I know you know. And for y'all to believe the BS that he's telling y'all, like, oh, now suddenly I'm a college dropout and I'm living with my boyfriend. Like, he's trying to paint me in such a bad light. First of all, did you tell him why I'm not going back to college? Because you refuse. And when I say refuse, he's fighting to the death to not pay nothing towards my college and to pay nothing to me. Like, he doesn't want to pay a single cent to my mom. He's made that very clear. He doesn't want to help me out either. So that's one. The reason I moved in with my boyfriend, he was trying to help me out so that I wouldn't have to spend money in dorms anymore, an extra 2, 3, 4, 5,000 a month I could save in my pocket. In your pocket, it would have been in our pockets. I could have saved because I'm not far. I had a car, so it was a 20-minute drive to school every time. Like, be for real. That's the only reason I'm living there. Now I'm not in the schools. I don't have any place to stay because the only place I was staying was in the dorms at school. But I'm not in for the semester. But it's just funny to me because he has all this and this and that to say to all the family when I'm not there. But when I'm in your house, never do you ask me, oh, why are you not going back to school? Because you know I'm going to ask you, why don't you want to help me pay? It's mind-boggling to me. It's really mind-boggling. So it's like a lot of these situations that you're complaining about, you got us in the first place. And I'm not going to say my mom had no play into it because, like I said, at a certain point, it took her a while to really come around, you know. But there was some things that she wasn't an enabler at that point. Like, she doesn't get away with, you know, no blame. But I know she's a victim herself, so it's like I can't put that on her. And I'm grateful for her, and I'm thankful for her, and I'm thank God that she was my mom in that house, because when I tell you, I would not be here. Like, y'all not understanding, I would not be here. So excuse the quality because I don't have the lights on, but keep in mind, the same way that my mom was like the light in the darkness for us in the house, like she was the rock, because like I said, my dad gave us nothing emotionally. Like, he was not somebody you go to when you are upset to be consoled. He's not somebody you go to talk about your day. He's gonna be in his phone when he's talking to you. You know what I'm saying? Like, having a conversation with him is like having a conversation with a wall. You get nothing back. So my mom was the only person who, she's engaging, she's helping us with our homework, like she's being a parent, like doing everything that a parent should do. And not only is she working her butt off, trying to make sure we have food on the table, we have a roof over our head too, but she's doing everything to make sure that she was able to give us the love to make up for my dad. Not all, because obviously that's a lot of pressure to put on one person, but she did a lot. That's why I said without her, I would not be here, because if only y'all knew the half of it. Like, I can't even, can I tell you a sliver of things that went on in that house? I'm gonna make a series, and it's gonna be called Let's Really Talk About It. And I think I'm gonna just come out with episodes probably like every week of things that really need to be talked about, because when they're not talked about, it's so damaging. It's like a butterfly effect. Like, literally, like, one thing affects the next thing, which affects the next thing, which affects the next thing. Like, it's like, if we just stop it at this one thing and have an adult come, like, let's talk about it. Like, you're trying to paint this picture like I never never talk to you all. Yeah, because that's what it's always been, a transaction. It's a transactional relationship. Now, all of a sudden, you want me to come confide in you? Like I'm about to just come give you a hug and talk to you about my day? Like, that's not how it ever was for 18 years. It was never like that. You never once asked me how my day was. And now, all of a sudden, you want to know my life story and what's going on with me. Like, you tell me. You should know. Since you know so much. Being able to talk through things is a way of healing. It's like you're processing your emotions. It become real, because it's like it kind of drives you crazy when you have all of these thoughts going in your head all at once, and then all of a sudden it's like you get to talk about them now, and it becomes real, and it just makes it a little bit better. So if I know that at least one other person heard this, or somebody who needs to hear this heard this, somebody who's being influenced to the lies, and I'll be happy. All I could say is that I will never be in a marriage like that. And I can say that because mom was out of it. So I will never be in a marriage like that. I always said that growing up. I will never be with someone like my dad. I used to say that all the time. Like, I never want to be with someone like my dad, because he doesn't know how to treat women. And I'm so happy I found my boyfriend. My husband. Excuse my appearance. I was editing this video and I realized that I never made an outro. So just to sum everything up, basically what I told is not even like it's not even like 1% of the things that happen in my house. It's just like, it took me a minute to record that video. Like, literally tried to record it 3 times. It was like 4 a.m. in the morning. That's why my voice is also really quiet in it. And it's just like, there was just so many things that I would say, and then things I would leave out of a story, because there's so much that goes into it. So I hope y'all enjoyed that video. I hope, like I said, whoever needed to hear it heard it, and I'll be happy. And I'll see y'all in the next Let's Talk About It. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and hopefully I'll see y'all in the next video.